Hello everyone and welcome to another Necromancer beta video. In this video, just like the previous one, I'm going to be highlighting one of the sets. This video is going to focus on the new Blood set. This is a set that is going to be taking into consideration all of your blood skills, and so far I've had quite a bit of fun. You'll notice I have no pets. That's one of the nice things about this build, is that it is one of those, or not this build, but the set, is that it's one of those sets that you can create builds that don't revolve singularly around pets. In this one, I did build more of a melee spec just because I really like the idea of using Death Nova, but you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. Just so that way you have an understanding, this video is going to be highlighting the set's appearance, its passives, the actual build that I chose for right now, which is an interim build, and also I'm going to be demonstrating the build in a Rift. Okay, so to start off with, you can see it right there. It looks pretty cool. Let's see it a little bit more up close. So in my opinion, it has a very meaty look to it, almost a fleshy look to it. And honestly, I like it. It also looks slightly vampiric. Definitely has that blood appearance to it, almost like a red Sauron, if you will, from Lord of the Rings. Overall, it looks pretty neat. The different dyes on it do make it look pretty weird, in my opinion. I can demonstrate that for you real quick. Okay, just as an example, using the all black, this is kind of what you get. It's just almost looks like rotten meat, if you ask me. It looks kind of gross. And then if you take the exact opposite spectrum and use white, this is kind of how it would look as well. So, again, so far between this set as well as the bone set, it doesn't have very good dyeing options in my opinion. And that's kind of a bummer. But the nice thing at the same time is that it does look good by itself. Alright, now that you have an idea as to what it looks like, again, this is beta, anything can change, but this is what it looks like right now. I'm going to go ahead and go over the actual passives. Okay, so the 2 set, Blood Rush, gains the effect of every rune. That's going to be this ability down here, Blood Rush. It is essentially going to be your warping or your teleportation type of ability. And all the runes are going to consist of potency, which is going to increase your armor for a short time after casting. Transfusion is going to heal you for every enemy passed through, which is going to be one of those very important parts of my particular build. Molting leaves a corpse at your original location when used. Hemostasis removes the health cost, and metabolism, which will provide an additional charge but doubles the health cost. Again, and you'll find out here in a little bit that using health and gaining health is going to be a very integral part of this particular set. Okay, for the 4-piece, while at full life, your healing from skills is added to your max life for 45 seconds up to 100% more. What that's saying is that while you have your full health here, any healing that you get is going to essentially double, or could potentially double, your health pool. So as you start using abilities like, say, Death Nova with Blood Nova, you're using your health in order to do damage, and so having that extra health pool can be very beneficial to you. Okay, so the 6-piece, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Spending 10% of your life grants you a stack of Blood Cascade. Let's see if I can demonstrate that. So this is your Blood Cascade. Damage and cost increase for your life spending abilities, and it will stack up. And for every stack, it's quite nice. Okay, so how's that going to benefit you? Because spending that gives you the Blood Cascade. Each stack of Blood Cascade increases the damage of life spending attacks by 200%, but also increases life you lose by 10%. Using a skill to heal will consume a stack and heal you for 300% more. So that's where in this particular build, that's where the Blood Rush is going to come in. So you're going to be using your ability, your Death Nova, and then you're going to heal yourself real quick with the Blood Rush. But it's not going to be enough to actually wipe out all of your stacks here. But if you use, and I also use Devour in order to get my my essence back, and in this case I'm using the Devouring Aura, so that way I don't have to worry about actually getting it back. It's just going to automatically refill, okay? And I'm not using Cannibalize. You would think it would be nice, but because it acts as a heal, that means your Cascade stacks are going away, and you're not going to be doing as much damage with Blood Nova or Death Nova. So there's that. As far as the build itself, I've already explained a little bit. I'm using Death Nova as my primary ability to do damage. Secondary ability that I'm using to do damage is going to be my Bone Armor, believe it or not. Vengeful Armaments. Rip bones from your nearby enemies, dealing damage and creating armor that reduces damage taken per enemy hit and increases damage dealt to enemies. So I'm getting a little bit of defense, I'm doing some damage when I use it, and I'm going to be increasing my damage. There is an increased damage dealt when I use this ability, so it's quite good. My Blood Nova, spend health to unleash a powerful Blood Nova that deals to all nearby enemies. And then on top of that, I'm also going to be using Decrepify with Borrowed Time to slow my enemies down while using the Bane of the Trapped, while it also refills the cooldown of my Simulacrum. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. Which creates a Simulacrum made of blood that will duplicate your essence spenders for the duration, so that way during, say, key fights, champ packs, elite packs, I can get double the Blood Novas in there for not as much. Life cost for skills are reduced while Simulacrum is active, so I can get more attacks in there. I'm already getting double, but then I can get even more on top of it. My Devour is going to have Devouring Aura, so that way I don't ever have to worry about replenishing my essence. I want to make sure that that is as full as possible, so that way the only resource I really have to worry about is going to be my life. Alright, so I'm using Draw Life because this is more of a melee build. Anything that is within 20 yards is going to increase my life regeneration by 10%, and that does not affect the Cascade stacks. Standalone, since I have no pets, my armor has increased by 100%, so I get a little extra defense. Exploit Weakness. Any enemy that is afflicted by one of my curses, which is going to be my Decrepify, is going to increase my damage output by 1%. And Blood is Power. Every 5% life lost, which I'm going to be using quite a bit, is also going to reduce my remaining cooldowns by 1%. So, what I've noticed is that with Borrowed Time and with that passive, I still don't get Simulacrum as often as I would like to, but keep in mind, I also do not have anything in my cube just yet. Again, this is still very early on. My main purpose is just to get you guys familiar with the sets, a little interim build, something that you can consider using while progressing, and until you get some good gear, get some good Kenai cube powers, and all that good stuff. So despite my kind of craptastic gear, I'm still doing pretty decent. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is I'm going to go through a rift, and I'm just going to demonstrate exactly how this works. I'll be going through a Torment 4 rift.
Unleash your power, champion. night embrace. That is not possible. This world can abide you no longer. Not enough health. Cycle. That is not possible. You will make a fine corpse. Rot. You? I'm afraid not. Not enough health. I grow weak. Can abide you no longer. The Rift Guardian has found you. Not enough health.
Okay, folks, so that's pretty much the build in a nutshell. This is, again, the blood set, and as you can see, there was a few points in time where I had some issues with the resources and whatnot, but that's not that hard to get out of those situations. And it's kind of a scary build because you're going to be getting into that low health quite a few times, but it's just about how well you can manage your blood rush to keep yourself from dying. And I don't know, I find it quite fun. And as you saw, I kept my stacks up in order to put out a good amount of damage. Almost too much, if you ask me, because being able to 2 or 3 shot a Rift Guardian, I think, is pretty insane. But anyway, uh, I hope you found this video informative, and I hope you found it fun. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section below, and subscribe for more as I continue going through the different sets for the Necromancer. Alright, until next time, Horseman out.